Today, we're going to unpack the profound meaning behind a single, powerful verse in the Bible, John chapter 1, verse 3. Let's dive in and see what it really has to say.
So here it is. All things were made through him, and without him was not anything made that was made. Now, on the surface, it seems pretty straightforward, right? But what if I told you this simple sentence is actually one of the most significant, world-changing claims in the entire Bible? Because you see, this isn't just a simple statement of fact. It's an absolutely radical claim about the identity and the power of the one John calls the Word, who we know as Jesus Christ. What's so fascinating here is how John decides to open his account. By starting this way, he's deliberately echoing the very first words of the entire Bible. In the beginning, God created. This is no accident. John is making a powerful connection, tying Jesus directly to the act of creation itself to establish his divine nature from the get-go. And this leads us to a massive, game-changing implication about Jesus' real identity. Think about it. If he is the creator, then logically he cannot possibly be a part of the creation.
Just look at the contrast here. It's pretty common to think of Jesus as a great prophet, maybe an angel or some other kind of created being, but John's claim is on a whole different level. He's not presenting Jesus as just a messenger, but as the creator. Not as some being within creation, but as the uncreated source of all life itself.
And if we just follow that logic, a few things become crystal clear. First off, if every single thing was made through him, then he couldn't have been created himself. It's just a logical impossibility. Second, that makes him the very source code, the origin point for everything that exists. And third, well, it means that without him, there would be absolutely nothing. So here's why that matters so much. This understanding completely changes how we hear his teachings. When Jesus says something later in John's Gospel like, "I am the way, the truth, and the life," that isn't just a religious leader making a bold claim. If you believe John 1:3, that's the creator of the universe speaking directly.
But hold on, this doesn't mean Jesus was acting alone. In fact, this verse opens the door to an even deeper, more amazing concept, the idea that creation was a team effort, the collaborative work of the Trinity.
So, a great question to ask is, okay, if Jesus the Word is the agent of creation, where did God the Father and the Holy Spirit fit into all of this? Well, the Bible paints a really unified picture. You can almost think of it like this. The Father is the great mind, the one who speaks the divine plan into existence. The Son, as the living Word, is the one who acts on that plan, making it a physical reality. And the Holy Spirit, just as it says in Genesis, is the power present, hovering over the waters. So you see, it's not three separate actions. It's one perfectly unified act. The picture we get is of a triune God who is completely united in both purpose and power, not just at the very beginning in creation, but all the way through to the very end in restoration. All right, now we get to what is, for so many people, the most staggering, the most mind-bending part of this whole story, the incarnation. The idea of God actually becoming human. So what happens when you take everything we've just talked about, this idea that Jesus is the uncreated creator of literally everything, and you smash it together with the story of his life on earth? The Apostle Paul captured this incredible idea so well. He wrote that Jesus, who being in very nature God, did not consider equality with God something to be used to his own advantage. Rather, he made himself nothing. Being made in human likeness, he humbled himself. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. The very source of all life, the one through whom the entire universe was spoken into existence, chose to step inside that creation and become mortal, become human. It is just an unbelievable display of humility. Okay, so let's pull all these threads together. When we really look at Jesus through the lens of John 1, verse 3, our idea of who he is has to expand way beyond the usual titles we give him.
He's not just a carpenter's son from some small, dusty town.
He's so much more than a wise religious teacher or a gifted rabbi.
And he is absolutely, positively not an angel or a created being or some kind of lesser god. John's claim puts him in a category all by himself. John uses a specific, powerful Greek word for this, logos. Now, it translates as the Word, but it means so much more. It's the idea of the divine wisdom, the underlying logic and order of the entire created world. He is the one through whom it all was made, and the one through whom it all holds together. And so, that brings us right back to where we started, but with a question for you. If John 1, verse 3 is true, if the creator of the entire universe stepped down into his own creation for you, what changes? That's the challenge and the promise at the very heart of this single, powerful verse.